Hi, folks. Welcome back. I am just getting back into the swing of life at my desk. I've put up my new months to do a little touch up on the wall there, I think. Someone zealously pulled down the old months. It wasn't me. I had like a tiny little flash flood in here as well. So we've got to put everything straight. I thought I would talk to you today about the new dashboard that Substack rolled out just a few weeks ago. There's not that much difference, to be honest, but a couple of people said that they'd be really keen to hear from me, and for me to do a little walking tour, um, laptop tour, show around, just get all of my words back in gear. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and do that. If you are new to my space, it's lovely to meet you. I am Claire Venus. I live on the Northumberland Coast with my family. I'm an engagement consultant and mentor, and I have been teaching Substack for nearly 3 years now. I absolutely love the platform, and I have lots of resources to help you, both free and paid. So do come on over to Sparkle on Substack and join us. Okay, so if you are already writing on Substack, you'll have noticed that there are a few little changes to the way that we are able to access our dashboard. So this statistical information is the same. So this is a vibrant visibility challenge that I am running 15th of September. It's free. So if you want to come on over, we'll just be focusing on getting ourselves visible again and getting really comfortable with what it means to put ourselves and our work out there. So it's telling me that I have 890 subscribers, that I've had 1,617 views, and that's gone up. And then I've had subscribers from the app as well. So I have this as my primary publication at the moment because I'm trying to see if that has an impact on people signing up to receive emails specifically for this pop-up publication. So on the side here, it's given me some options with what I can access. I've got posts, podcast, and chat. So they're like the curatorial features that I might need. And then I can go into my subscribers and my stats, and then everything will be the same. One of the things that has changed here is they've got this menu that they're calling Creator Tools, and they've got payments, recommendations, and branding in there. I'm still going into settings just because I'm very used to working Substack that way. So I tend to ignore all of this and go into settings. And then from there, use the search bar like I always was. So if, say, I wanted to set up some coupons, and do some special offer coupons, I would type coupon. If I wanted to do a new section, I would type section, and then is it going to come up? Doesn't seem to have come up, does it? There it is at the bottom. So it's the same. It's no better than it was before. What should be happening is the word section should pop up sections at the top here. Um, and it's done it there. Um, so I still use it that way. I think that is a really good way to use it because then once you know your way around Substack and you know what you're looking for, you're not endlessly scrolling through the settings page. If you do need to endlessly scroll through the settings page to find something, then this is your dashboard settings. So your publication name, you can change that as many times as you want. So it'll just pull through. So obviously I've called this Vibrant Visibility Challenge September 2025. And then I've done a publication explainer. And instead of a logo, I've got a photo of me, like a fun, vibrant photo of me. So people can recognize that it's me holding this challenge. And then again, you can scroll down. I don't actually have payments turned on for this one. I've paused it. So, but if you did want to turn on payments, you've got that there. And then it'll list out your free and your paid subscriber benefits there. And then you can accept direct debit and app related payments as well, which is through the Apple Store. Special offers is where you do your coupons, and gift subscriptions you've got there. You can turn on your auto paywall. So I've got the auto paywall on this one because I do the challenges as a standalone thing that are free, but then I sell them as a standalone product on my website. So the last three that I've done, so I did the Joyful Growth Challenge, the Growth to Bestseller Challenge, and then the Homepage Design Challenge. So they're all for sale on my website. So they're in the archive of this Substack. And what I was going to do is have people be able to pay, but I realized I didn't want another Substack to manage because it just gets confusing for people. Like, should they buy it on my website? Should they sign up here? Like, I just end up having to answer more questions. So I just keep it really clear that it is free for everybody, the same way like a Facebook challenge would be or whatever. And then they can have the PDF version plus some extra bonuses if they want to pay for it after that time. So that's the way that I do that. And then, so it's not relevant to do anything with 7-day free trials because we're not doing trials there. You've got your income reports. You can set up everything. So this is all really the same. You've got the option to go to your website theme editor. From what I can tell, all they've done is added a few extra bits in here so you can click them more quickly. So these are perhaps the main places that people were heading to. But like I said, because I got so used to searching for the thing that I wanted in the old navigation bar settings tool, I just did it that same way. Pages you can add, notes, your welcome photo, all of that's there. Read aloud voice. Victoria. Should we listen to Victoria? She's quite good. She's quite posh, isn't she? Let's see. Let's see what Cora's like. No, she's a bit too AI. Let's try Casey. Casey for the win. We'll leave it at Casey. So you can do that if people want to hear your post read aloud and you haven't got time to read it aloud and record it, then you've got that. Email sender name. It's good for me to do this because I have multiple different Substacks and I have an email address as well. So I think that I should probably change that. I always misspell visibility. I always second guess myself. Thank goodness for spell checks. So yeah, all of that is the same. Soon we'll get into the danger zone, I'm sure. Loads of things. You forget, don't you, how many things are here. I've got that hooked up to my YouTube, which is good. Yeah, and then the danger zone. So I think that settings page is pretty much all the same. It's just these little quick links that have changed. So if you want to go to your Substack website now, this is the main thing that I always think is helpful to do because we want to see what other people see. So you'll be on your dashboard like this. And then what you want to do, if you're not creating a new post of any sort, you just want to have a look what everybody else sees, then you would just click website and then it's going to show you it there so you can see exactly what it looks like. And then if you want to go back into your dashboard and then do something else, then obviously you can. With branding, yeah, so this hasn't changed at all either. Everything is exactly the same. I thought this would be the case. I did check it a couple of weeks ago, but you know, you always second guess yourself. So you can do all your reorganization of your homepage through branding, either in your publication settings, like I just showed you, or you can go into it right there. And then you've got a shortcut to your recommendations as well, which is nice. It's always nice to recommend some friendly Substackers. I can go back and write these blurbs later, but it just helps teach the algorithm what you're about. I don't recognize any others, so I can't recommend them yet, but if I do some reading around those, then I could definitely recommend them back. And so it's lovely to see this because obviously you start to see like what you recommend, but also Substack starts to tell you, oh, well, you normally would read these and recommend these, so why don't you do that? So I'll do a little bit of that. Why not? Lovely, lovely. Okay. So the other part of this video that I was gonna record for you was just to, and I've done this a few times before, but just one more time just because it's updated. So obviously if you've got multiple publications, these are all going to be inside of their own dashboards in terms of when you want to try and find the settings. But your profile settings, you go here and then you're going to go to settings here. And this is going to be everything to do with your profile. So if you wanted to change your name or your handle or anything like that, your bio, we've now got this beautiful theme that we can add, which I really like, and we can change the colours there as well. So that's all in there. You can change your primary publication. So I could switch mine back to Sparkle on Substack, which is my membership, and then it's got these toggled on. These are a client's Substack, so these aren't my Substack, so that's why they're not toggled on. And then some of the reads that I've got there, You can turn your likes on and off there if you want to, whatever you want to do. So you've got that there. If you want to go into your bio here, you can see what that all looks like from someone else's point of view. So I think obviously bios are really important to get right because it's like the billboard of what people see. So if you imagine yourself at a crowded market stall and everything is really sensory and inviting and exciting and curious, but there's only so much that we can take in. So we might start off really enthusiastic, but by the end, we've just had enough of being at the market and it's time to get an ice cream. So I always sort of try and see what I can add to my copy that gives more of the energy of me and what I'm about. So this is a photograph of one of my favorite notebooks that I took on holiday. It was an impromptu shot, really, like it's nothing professional, but I just really like it. And I like that it says the word create in gold. I like that it's got coffee in the corner of it. This photo of me, again, I took it in a cafe because I like the sparkly backdrop. And then there's the little sparkle that kind of matches and ties all of this together. You can do way more elaborate and complicated things here if you want to, but we're already giving people a lot of information here. So there's information here, and then there's the names of the publications as well. So I just like to keep it quite clean and then get people to actually read what this is. So if you want to read it the way that other people read it, all you do is just literally click on your own name and you'll see to it. And then if you want to change it, you go into the settings there, and that's where you'll be able to edit your profile and change everything in there. So, I don't think there's anything else. I just literally wanted to pop in and show you that nothing's really changed. It just looks a little bit different to what we used to. And certainly in my videos, it'll be the old dashboard in all of my videos, and that's fine. Thanks, Substack. But I think the reason that they've done it is just to give us those quick links to the things that we might want to do and give us it all there. So we've still got our latest post there and we can have a look at the stats. I think this can be really motivating because you can view the stats and think, oh, I'll share it again, share it over on notes or share it on your socials and try and get the views up. So you can have a look at that. And other than that, that's all the same. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. I hope that you found it informative and that you can find your own way around your Substack dashboard. One of the things about publishing it on Substack is that people have time and attention to be able to give to your writing. So don't forget to link to older articles. Don't forget to reshare after a day or two, reshare on the day, share across social media. Think about all of the ways to invite people in. It's really important that you help people understand what they're receiving. So if you want people to be inside of the Substack app, you have to do a bit of education about that. If you're happy for them to read an email, there's really not much that they need to know other than Substack powers your email service provider. I mean, they don't call themselves that, but essentially it's an email service going out into the world. But if they sign up for a Substack, then they will get emails from Substack as well, which is different. Like if someone signs up to my Podia email, they don't get emails from Podia. So Substack is always trying to galvanize the one reader and turn it into a paying subscriber of multiple publications. That's literally its business model. So I think it's good for us to know because when we're sharing off platform, it can be helpful to make the right invites into people. Okay, guys, well, I will leave it there and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.